Imagine the dawn. Before the day's demands begin their chorus, there exists a space of quiet potential. Even if your phone is already buzzing, even if the calendar is already full, there is still a moment you can claim, an intentional pause, before you step fully into the current. This is the practice of a quiet arrival. It does not demand that you move slowly or in silence all morning. It means you arrive into your day with your attention gathered on purpose. It might look like taking 1 or 2 minutes before you rise from your bed, or stepping into a room, closing the door gently, and taking 3 slow, deliberate breaths before you begin what is next. The key is this: you are not sprinting your awareness from one task to the next. You are giving your mind a place to land. Why does this matter? Our minds are finely tuned instruments, sensitive to the dissonance of stress and abrupt transitions. When we leap from sleep to screens, from home to emails, from one demand to the next, our nervous system often interprets this as a state of high alert. Research in stress physiology reveals that the body's response involves hormones like cortisol, and these rapid, unpredictable changes can keep that system activated far longer than necessary. A quiet arrival helps you shift from a reactive mode to a chosen mode. It is the difference between your day happening to you and you steering your day with purpose. This quiet arrival is the foundation, and upon this foundation, we build our intention for the day. Because an intention is more than a motivational phrase. It is a specific internal commitment that guides your awareness. Instead of a broad goal like, have a good day, try something that directs your behavior. For example, today, I will speak with patience, even when I am interrupted. I will begin my work by choosing the next right step, not the easiest one. I will take my breaks before I feel overwhelmed. Today, I will notice 3 moments of calm instead of waiting for the day to feel perfect. Notice how these are not wishes, they are lenses. When you hold an intention, your mind begins to recognize what matches it, like a quiet filter. This is especially helpful when distractions appear, because they will always appear. An intention does not eliminate them. It gives you a way to respond. To form your intention, choose one theme that fits the day you are actually walking into. If you expect a busy schedule, your intention might be, stay organized in small ways. If you expect difficult conversations, it might be, lead with empathy. The most effective intentions are realistic, doable, and grounded in how you want to be. But an intention, no matter how clear, will always meet resistance. We call this resistance distraction. Distractions are not only bad things, they can be neutral, even good things, that slowly pull your focus from what matters most. The challenge is not that distractions exist. It is that our attention is a finite resource. So the question becomes, what consistently receives your attention minute by minute? Because wherever your attention goes, your heart tends to follow. A distraction is anything that competes for the spotlight of the mind. It might be a notification, an endless scroll, the noise from another room, the pull to multitask, a persistent worry, or even your own planning. Whether the source is external or internal, the effect is the same. You become less present, less reflective, and less able to pray with clarity. Your focus becomes fragmented, and when attention is fragmented, worship and prayer can feel dry or difficult, not because God has moved, but because you are trying to connect while your mind is being pulled in 10 different directions. So, what does it mean to surrender distractions? Surrender is not passive resignation. It is an intentional transfer of control. It is the recognition that you are not powerless, even when a habit feels strong. You are choosing a direction. Imagine steering a boat. The wind and the currents are real forces, but steering is still your decision. Surrender is you, turning the wheel toward God and letting go of the fight to hold everything else in your head at the same time. First, identify your greatest attention thief. For a few days, simply notice what most often interrupts your moments of quiet or prayer. Is it your phone? Is it the list of household tasks? Is it your own thought life? Regrets, comparisons, or urgent to-do lists? A distraction that you can name becomes easier to resist. Second, curate your environment before you pray. This is a simple but profound act. Put your phone on silent and in another room. Close the extra tabs on your computer. Lower the volume of the world around you, and take a minute to sit with intention. You are not earning God's attention. God is always present, but you are helping your own mind to settle. Third, practice one thing at a time when you pray. Try a simple 3-part rhythm. Gratitude for what God has given, confession for where you have fallen short, and petition for the help you need today. This structure gives your mind a clear path to follow, making it less likely to wander. With our intentions set and our distractions surrendered, we turn to the work itself. This is where we ask for discipline, and discipline rarely arrives with fireworks. More often, it looks like choosing the next right thing, quietly, faithfully, and when no one is watching. The kind of discipline worth asking for begins in small, faithful actions. Not because big changes are impossible, but because small actions build the spiritual muscle that supports the great ones. Think of these as decisions and habits you can repeat without needing a surge of motivation. These are the ordinary moments that shape who you become. Praying for 5 minutes before checking your phone. Reading a short passage of scripture instead of scrolling. Choosing honesty in a conversation when a small lie would be easier. Small actions are not insignificant. They are the very building blocks of long-term faithfulness. When you ask God for discipline, it helps to ask in a practical way. Instead of only praying, "Help me be disciplined," you can pray, "God, give me the discipline to do what I know I should do today, one step at a time." This kind of prayer is a request for guidance, clarity, and strength for the specific choices ahead. Consider the morning routine. The discipline you need is not for perfect mornings forever. It is the discipline to simply begin. So you might ask for the strength to perform a single faithful action, getting out of bed when the alarm sounds, or reading one psalm before anything else. 5 minutes can be a turning point because you are forming a pattern. I start my day with God before I start it with distractions. This applies to our relationships as well. Think of the discipline it takes to respond with patience instead of reacting with anger, or the discipline to ask for forgiveness when you are wrong, or the discipline to speak truth with kindness, especially when a situation tempts you to be harsh. In these moments, which can pass in seconds, you can ask for the strength to pause, to breathe, and to choose words that build rather than break. As we practice discipline, we learn to lean on guidance. Guidance is the compass we use to navigate the terrain of daily life. It shows up not only in the monumental decisions, but in the small, constant choices. What to say in a tense conversation, what to prioritize when you feel overwhelmed, and how to choose between what feels good now and what is right over time. First, consider your decisions. A wise decision is rarely random. It is the result of a thoughtful pause. Before you commit, try a simple sequence. Identify the choice, gather the relevant facts, and check your motives. Are you saying yes to impress someone, to avoid a conflict, or because it genuinely aligns with your purpose? Guidance helps you slow down enough to notice the difference between urgency and importance. Next, consider your words. What you say does not just communicate information. It creates an atmosphere. It can calm or inflame, clarify or confuse, build trust or erode it. Before you speak, especially in a moment of frustration, ask yourself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Truth anchors us in reality. Necessity prevents the noise of oversharing, and kindness ensures our message can be received without becoming an attack. Instead of saying, "You never listen," a guided approach might be, "When we discussed this, I felt unheard. Can we revisit that part?" The issue is the same, but the impact is transformed. Finally, consider your priorities. Your priorities are revealed by what you repeatedly choose when no one is watching. They are the answer to the question, what truly gets my time, my attention, and my energy? To find guidance here, list the 3 areas of your life that matter most. Perhaps faith, family, and health. Then ask, which one is most in need of your attention right now? A priority is not a wish. It is a choice reflected in your calendar, your habits, and your decisions under pressure. The fruit of this intentional life, of focus, discipline, and guidance, is a deep and abiding peace. But this is not a fragile calm that depends on perfect circumstances. It is a stable center. When your inner state is steady, you are less likely to react automatically to someone else's choices, tone, or mistakes. And that opens the door to treating others with compassion and clarity, without slipping into judgment. Judgment can be obvious, but it is often subtle. A sarcastic thought, a silent assumption, a mental scorekeeping. When you feel that internal verdict forming about someone, pause and ask, am I reacting to the facts or to a story I've created? The facts are what you can observe, the words they used, the action they took. The story is what your mind adds, why they did it, what it means about them as a person. Peace comes from separating the two. You can acknowledge that an action was not right, while resisting the urge to condemn the person who did it. Imagine a coworker sends a blunt message. This is wrong. Fix it. The judgment arrives fast. They're disrespectful. But peace creates the space needed to choose a better response. It allows you to see beyond the tone and address the problem. A calm, firm, and fair reply might be, I can fix it. What specifically needs to change? You are not punishing the person for their tone. You are solving the problem with dignity. This is the power of inner peace. It gives you the capacity for wisdom, even when you are surrounded by chaos. And so, we arrive at the heart of the practice. Commitment. Commitment is not a single grand decision made once. It is the quiet, daily act of showing up. In Scripture, it is described as endurance, continuing to do what is right even when the world is noisy and the results are slow to appear. A harvest does not arrive instantly. It grows through seasons of faithful tending. Commitment is the same. You keep praying when answers feel distant. You keep living with integrity when no one is watching. You keep choosing forgiveness. This commitment is strengthened by blessing. Biblically, a blessing is far more than an accumulation of good things. It is the shaping of your character and the strengthening of your spirit. Consider the ancient Aaronic blessing. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. the Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Notice what is offered: protection, grace, divine presence, and peace. This is the wholeness that comes from knowing you are not alone. When you commit to this path, you are not just asking for better outcomes, you are receiving help for your heart. The blessing often shows up in quiet ways: clarity after confusion, courage in a hard conversation, and a growing ability to handle uncertainty with faith. This is the morning prayer, lived out. It is a quiet arrival into the presence of God. It is a chosen intention, a surrender of distractions, a discipline in small things, a request for guidance, a foundation of peace, and a daily commitment. It is the steady hand that guides your day, turning your attention toward what is true, what is honorable, and what lasts.